Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. You are here at the home of the Slightly Above Average Ship Review. I'm your host, KPZ. Today, as you can see, we have a domination match on Neighbors in the Portal Shards reward ship, the Halloween reward ship, whatever you want to call it. The Perth is a Commonwealth Tier 5 premium cruiser. As you can see in this match on Neighbors, there are no destroyers, bad. There are aircraft carriers, bad. Thankfully, it is not the new British aircraft carrier or whatever aircraft carrier. I want to say it's called the Ark Royal. Apparently, that thing is very much a pain in the butt. I tried to buy that through the judicious use of my wallet and failed. I found the crate rewards were a little underwhelming, and so we didn't buy it. You'll have to excuse me if this gets wonky for some reason. My computer screen is deciding to go dark every minute or so, and I don't know what's going on. So, all right, so let's talk about the Perth Commonwealth ship. We're using a base commander. I said in my mind that this is probably going to be like the Fiji or Belfast, whichever one of those is hiding the smoke and spam, similar to that. So that's how I kind of set out to play it. As always, your mileage may vary. Quick note about the consumables. They have the option of DFAA in slot 2 instead of the fighter plane. I don't recommend DFAA on the ship. The smoke screen in the third slot is not a traditional smoke. It is not a British smoke. It is not a rolling smoke. It is a creeping smoke. So based on what I read on Reddit, if you are going 12 knots or slower, and we activated the smoke here, you can see under 12 knots, we're able to stay inside the smoke. If you speed up, you will leave your smoke behind. So keep that in mind as I speed up, because I'm going to show you that we will leave the smoke behind. And I don't know why I smoked up here, because I thought these guys were closer than they were. I can barely shoot at anybody. So here we sped up to 17.6 and we left our smoke behind. So don't do that. I found that at quarter speed, pardon me, it should be slow enough for you to stay in it. That's just what I believe. And right here, we'll put it at quarter speed and show you we are able to stay within it. So you go any faster than a quarter ahead full, you will leave your creeping smoke behind. Or you could do another thing. You could lay down the smoke, start the smoke screen, and then throw it in reverse, and then move back and forth in that smoke screen, etc., etc. I'm going to spam some HE at the Tennessee here, and just checking that main battery range. Looks like 14.2. That ship is out of reach. We do set a fire on the Tennessee. Going to try one more salvo there. And we are being spotted by planes, so the Julio Cesare decided to shoot at me, which I'm terrified. Actually, there's maybe Budoni out there as well, also shooting at me. So we'll use the rocks here to get us going in reverse and adjust our heading here in reverse. While we're doing that, I want to say I hope everybody managed to finish the Halloween event. I finished right before I locked the ship. Had to personally kill the Great Gorgon as the last achievement. If you're struggling with that, please know you do not have to have a 5-star mission to unlock everything. You can do like 3 of the things on one mission and the remaining 2 on the other one. As long as they all 5 tasks get accomplished, you will finish out that level of the Halloween mission. So finished out earlier today by personally killing the Great Gorgon to get that 5th thing. So nightmare mode over for me. And got this thing unlocked, and so I don't really know how much more grinding I'm going to do. I mean, maybe I'll do some to get more Halloween crates to see if I can get the Ark Royal, but it certainly will not interrupt the video flow here. So this video is replacing a review of another ship, and we're just going to kick that to next week. Word on the street is the next update may be a Japanese destroyer. One of the comments in my Halloween event video mentioned the name. I want to say Hayate or something like that, but I honestly don't remember. But it's a tier 10 ship on PC. Yeah, it is called the Hayate. It's a tier 10 destroyer on PC. According to the wiki, when I say that, I'm talking about wiki.wargaming.net. It says you can build it into the guns or into the torpedoes. AA defense. It's a jack of all trades, basically. So keep that in mind. All right, here we're coming out from behind the rock. We're going to try and torp at this Marblehead. He is turning away. So we're going to switch to armor piercing in the guns. I know from personal experience the Marblehead doesn't have a ton of armor. So we're going to shoot at the Marblehead. We're getting fire from several ships. Really disappointing. This ship's health pool is sucky. No heals. So we're going to activate that creeping smoke and tune up the Marblehead with a Citadel hit for our first kill, to go with the solo base cap that we got right before that. Other Marblehead back here, we're just going to spam some fire his way. Incoming torpedoes, we've got our sonar on, they have no chance to hit us. So we're just going to hang out in the smoke. And, you know, it's all in good fun here.
Nice work.
Oh boy, something is going. It just makes me laugh. It's like a brand new computer with more memory and more power than my old computer. And running this program is like extremely taxing. Like right now, the screen was frozen for like the last 5 minutes. All right, so I think someone else off screen crushed the other Marblehead. We're going to pop some shots out there at the Julio Cesare. Now, initially my goal starting out here was like, hey, maybe I can get to the aircraft carrier. But then I noticed our quote-unquote teammate over in the ACAP left the ACAP to pursue the carrier. And so as I lay down the remnants of the smoke screen, I'm like, you know what, I'll just go into Alpha because, you know, goal of the domination match, capture the bases. And you never know what's going to happen. You never know which teammates are going to do or not do, or maybe this guy will get sunk by the carrier. So I'll just play it smart, as I'm not a skilled cruiser player, don't have a ton of health left. We are just going to go into the Alpha Cap and cap that out. And then after that, we'll kind of see what's going on. Yeah, for like the 5th or 6th time, the computer screen went totally black. And I rebooted before I did this, so I have no idea what's going on here. But if you can diagnose my computer issues from just that brief description, leave your tips in the comment below, aside from return your computer. It never did this until right now, which is kind of bonkers. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Anyway, so if you don't love cruisers, there's no need to get this thing. You know, if I'm imagining folks from the Commonwealth or English ship lovers will snag this thing big time. If you like the play that I described, like hide in the smoke screen, shoot, that's great. It can do that. I kind of wish there was a tweener in between the spotter plane, which increased shell grouping, and the fighter plane, which is meant to shoot other ones. Kind of like a quasi-spotter plane or a float plane where you're up, it can tell you where the enemy ships are when you are in a smoke screen. but it doesn't give you any benefit other than that. And it can be shot down by fighter planes. You know, that's the kind of consumable this ship needs. Something that would allow you to spot, absent other ships spotting for you inside of that smoke screen. All right, so even though the screen is frozen, I believe the carrier did pop up. And so the Dunkirky is going to go after the carrier. And we are going to just sit in this frozen state. Well, presumably we're capping out Alpha, which is all I really wanted to do over here anyway. Not trying to kill pinch the carrier. Probably can't even shoot that far. And the red ships over by the Charlie Cap are too far away for me to shoot at as well. So we won't do any of that. And it's really hard to keep narrating when the screen is frozen. All right, there, it finally unlocked itself. Good grief. This computer is 32 megs of RAM. This shouldn't be happening. All right, so we're creeping out from this rock. And it's us, the Dunkirky, and a carrier left on our team. And I think the Bodoni, the Julio Cesare, and the Vesser left on their team. We have the lead in points by about 40, 35, something like that. We've got 2 caps, they've got 1 cap. What you're about to see is the red team not playing the objective, something I harp on all the time. This Julio Cesare commander is smart. He'll just go into Bravo to prevent me from getting more points there. And maybe that was his intention at one point. Here we're going to put up our smoke screen as the screen goes black and then freezes. We put up our plane, we put up our smoke screen. We do have a carrier left still. So I'm going to be able to shoot at the enemy ships while inside the smoke screen. I believe I initially targeted the Julio Cesare and set him on fire, then switched my aim to the Bodoni because it's going to be easier to kill. Not a lot of hit points left. Looks like maybe just under half at the beginning of that encounter. Meanwhile, while I'm talking about all that, the screen is frozen, I believe. The Dunkirky takes out the enemy aircraft carrier, but then is flooded out, presumably from the airplanes or something like that. Yeah, don't know about all that. So we did take out the Bodoni. It's 2-on-1. Just trying to set the Julio Cesare on fire. We do set off some of these 8 km torpedoes. High hopes for those. Continuing to reset the cap. And set the Julio Cesare on fire. And essentially, we're going to get a ton of cap defendants. And look at that, our plane even shot down an enemy airplane. And the smoke screen is coming to a close. And so I'm like, yo, I don't know what to do. And so we leave. Choppy video, that's not good. The internet, I think, was giving me problems here. So this is not my computer as opposed to the internet. So I know I'm dead, essentially. Even though we turned away, he really just crushed us right up the tailpipe. I know that sounds bad. It's not as bad as what Chris Collinsworth said on Monday Night Football. So we'll shoot some more HE before we die. But basically, I think I'm going to cut to the end. But basically, the Julio Cesare doesn't try to capture anything or do anything else. And the carrier player, much to my chagrin, just kept steaming out from behind the island that he's at right now. Just kept going forward. And I was just like, why do you want to keep going forward? Now, I was in no danger of being seen. But it was just annoying AF, as the kids say. So we'll stop here and fast forward to the end of the map. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are on my favorite screen, the victory screen. Didn't even get 60k damage. Well, I wasn't expecting a lot. 2 kills. We set 10 fires. I'm pretty pleased with that. Got a Citadel on that down tier Marblehead 12 cap defended flags, 2 solo base caps. I think this is kind of going to be kind of the game you're going to want to play, where you're doing a lot of things to help out your team rather than carrying the team. Just over 300,000 silver, 65.98 ship XP and commander XP in the Perth. We did not finish on top of the board. That went to the Dunkirky. We finished second with 24.43 base XP and those 2 big kills. Don't know what happened to the Texas down here, if he never logged in or got disconnected. In fairness, I think I got disconnected at the end of this video, because you'll see it go back to the login screen. So it is what it is. Anyway, the Perth is a support ship. Play it like a support ship. Don't expect to carry even when you're top tier. And I think you get a match like that, it'll be fine. All right, upgrades. Aiming system mod 1 and steering gears mod 2. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Consumables: 3 charges of this short-range sonar, 4 charges of a catapult fighter. You could get 3 charges of DFAA. I would not recommend DFAA at all in this ship. And 4 charges of that creeping smoke. We didn't use any booster flags, got this Type 9 permanent camo. And of course, the Anzac Day 22 flag. What other flag would you fly? All right, 27,910 hit points. There is no torpedo damage reduction on this ship, folks. Got those 4x2 152 millimeter guns, 14.2 kilometer firing range, 7.5 second reload, 25.7 second turn time. HE shells 2100 damage with 11% fire chance. AP shells 3100 damage. 4x2 102 millimeter secondaries. Not sure this is going to do a whole lot to anybody except for destroyers. 5.2 kilometer firing range, 3 second reload. HE shells do 1500 damage with an 8% fire chance. So if they actually get in there, that fire chance isn't too bad for a set of secondaries. But I would not build into the secondaries at all. Torpedo launchers, 2 quad launchers, reload every 96 seconds. Max damage, 15,433. 8 kilometer range at 61 knots. The detectability is 1,300 meters. AA defense, well, you can see your secondaries are dual purpose, do count as AA. That's the only long range thing there. The damage per second is horrifically bad. Your other AA is 1.2 kilometers and 2 kilometers, so your AA sucks. Maneuverability, 34.2 knots, 640 meter turning circle, 6.1 second rudder shift time. And concealment, I think it was 9.2 in the surface, and then the game reset. So I can't tell you what the rest of the numbers are, because I couldn't log back in. A lot of problems with connectivity due to the thing going on here. So anyway, we used the base commander. I was using the fire starting skill in row 1. Look at me now in row 2, and then the cruiser skills 3, 4, fully packed as the legendary skill. Thanks.